Have you ever noticed certain things just set you off? Like someone pushes a button and you react instantly. But have you ever stopped to ask, what are your buttons? Hi, I'm Scarlett Classic, and welcome to Classic Advice, a mental health podcast offering guidance for resilient souls anchoring calm amid the chaos. We all have triggers. We all have buttons that if someone or something pushes the button, we react. These buttons can be a multitude of different things. These buttons can be something that people push, your kids, your spouse, your coworkers. They can be situations, being rushed or stressed or being under pressure. And when the thing happens, we get annoyed, we get irritated, we react in maybe an unkind or maybe just being purely frustrated and then being put in a bad mood because these buttons were pressed. The reaction isn't random. It's a pattern that whenever this particular thing happens, you react in a certain way. For me, I absolutely hate being rushed in the morning. I like my mornings to be calm, relaxed, and it sets the pace for the rest of my day. I noticed that in particular when I was a single mother and my kids were really, really little, they were toddlers, that if I try to rush my kids, it never went well. And it set the tone for the rest of my day. And I don't think that I'm really a morning person by nature, but I became a morning person because I recognized this pattern. And when I did, I decided to do something about it and I changed my whole system. And when I'm not rushed in the mornings to get out the door, to get to work, to get the kids to school or whatever, then my day is so much better because I am calm, because I had that calm morning. When I'm irritated because I'm rushed in the morning, the whole rest of my day just seems to have that irritation lurking in the background. Not to say that I can't have a good day if I'm rushed in the morning, but it's not the same for me anyways. So as I'm talking about this, what is it for you? Do you find that you're the same way in the morning? Or maybe it's something completely different. Maybe you like your evenings, or it could be something entirely different for you. But recognizing that fact, recognizing that that is a button of mine, that I get really grumpy and irritated and frustrated when I am rushed out the door. Now I get up earlier. I have to go to bed earlier. So if I don't go to bed on time, which I strive really hard to do, because sleep is also a big, big thing for our mental health, to make sure that we're getting enough rest throughout the night. So that sets the tone for the next day as well. So I really try. And if I don't get to bed in time for whatever reason, I won't get up quite as early the next morning. But what I try to do is I get up and I'll have a whole hour to myself before my husband and son get up for the day. And I love that because it's time that I can spend working on, normally I work on my podcast or my social posts or something like that. I'll work on something for me that I need quiet for, because even though when I edit the show, I have earbuds in, it doesn't completely block out all the noise, right? So if they have a movie on, or if they're doing stuff in the kitchen, sometimes I can't pick up, or, oh, there's a clink in the background, or my phone was just recently going off in this episode, so I turned it on silent so I wouldn't have the bings in there. But it's that time of morning that I can be relaxed and I can feel like I do something that's meaningful to me. I consider my me time, when I spend time on the podcast and on my socials and all of that stuff. And I really enjoy doing this. So it's not draining for me. Sometimes I feel stressed if I'm behind in my schedule. But that is why, if I keep to my routine of having my relaxed mornings, then I stay on schedule. So it's kind of something that comes into full circle for me, because I feel productive because I am doing something that I love, and I have a nice, calm, relaxed morning, because before I sit down with my computer, I get ready to go to work, right? So when I'm done, I just close the laptop, I grab my stuff, and I head out to the car. There's no tension. There's no mood shift when I have a calm, relaxed morning because I get up earlier. Nothing changed except I planned for my buttons. If that makes sense. If I don't do this, then the button is still there. The button is not going away. I don't think. Anytime soon. I don't think this button is going anywhere. But when I plan to avoid the button, it doesn't get pushed. My son, even without even asking him, my youngest son is 9, and without even asking him to do this, he started getting up early with me because he wanted his time to watch a show before he goes to school in the morning, or play with toys, or whatever. He wanted time to himself. So even without speaking a word about buttons being pushed or being rushed out the door, he has adopted this new technique of mine without us sitting down and talking about it at all. He sets his alarm for an hour after I set mine. So I get up and I do my thing. I mean, we're in a camper, right? So room is a little limited. So it works out really, really well, because I'll get up, I'll get ready for work. Then when I'm sitting on the couch, Riley's then getting up. He doesn't take quite as long as me or his dad to get ready. And then my husband gets up and he has the whole kitchen and room camper space to himself to get ready for himself. And he must not have this button because, yeah, he has very relaxed mornings too, actually. So I actually never asked him. But he, I think, likes having the relaxed mornings too. It works out really, really well when you plan to avoid the buttons. That being said, if you know what your buttons are, you can plan for them. Instead of reacting, you can be proactive and plan your route accordingly. Awareness of what your buttons are gives you a choice of where you're going to go and what you're going to do and how you're going to go about your day. Instead of reacting, instead of snapping, instead of getting frustrated, because I find myself rushing out the door, rushing toddlers back in the day never ever works. So I stopped fighting the system and I shifted to adjust to my environment, I guess, to adjust to my situation. I adjusted my timing. I adjusted my expectations. Because looking back, rewinding, my oldest is 15 now, so that was back when he was only like 2.5. My youngest was just a baby, 9 months. I don't want to be rushed, so why would I rush them? It really annoys me to be rushed. And taking that into consideration, I don't rush others now. I plan for the time. I give myself ample time so I can be relaxed and calm. What are your buttons? Have you ever thought about it before? Today, as you go through your day, I challenge you to be very aware of when you get frustrated or when you get anxious and what happened right before those feelings come up. Maybe, that's one of your buttons. And awareness is probably, I'm not really sure if it would be the hardest thing, because adjusting the way that you do things can sometimes be difficult to figure out how you're going to skirt around and avoid them. But becoming aware of what your buttons are. Some examples are being rushed, feeling ignored, feeling overwhelmed, feeling anxious, feeling frustrated, and what preceded each one of those. Another good example for me is I get overwhelmed and stressed when I feel like I'm behind on recording and producing my podcast. So I intentionally have a schedule that keeps me 2 weeks ahead of myself. That way, if I get sick, if something happens and I fall behind a little bit, then it's all going to be okay. It'll all work out because I'm ahead of myself, so to speak. Understanding and knowing, not only in our head but in our heart, that we can't control everything. But you can try your best to understand yourself. And when you know your buttons, you can avoid them and they can stop controlling you. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Advice, guidance for resilient souls. May you stay anchored in what steadies you, rise resilient through what challenges you, and carry calm into whatever comes next. Take care. Love ya. Bye.